So I think we're live on Facebook. So yep, we're here. Yay! We did it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Get Reelisms podcast, episode 109. 109. It's been
too bad it wasn't 47.
Too bad. Right. That's right.
Well,
And
that's his favorite number.
And it's been a couple of weeks, you guys, so bear with us. I just woke up literally like an hour ago. I spent all night. So, I'm getting the gears going. I got some caffeine. We're getting this stuff done. So, without further ado,
we've been in weird patterns too. We haven't had that many overnights. Our last thing was a quote unquote overnight, but it wasn't. We started.
Well, let me introduce let's introduce ourselves really quick before we start getting into, because you guys are going to be the talk of the town. We have a special guest here today, you guys. So without further ado, my name is Adam Chase Rennie.
And I'm Christine Chen, and we have a special guest. His name is
Alex Walker.
Awesome.
Alex is finally on the podcast. At long last, Alex.
Yes, this is really special because this t-shirt that I'm wearing was inspired by my longtime friend, Alex Walker. So it's because Kelly and I always said that all the DPs that we've worked with are so skinny and they carry their
Your mic,
cameras
Christine.
and stuff like that. I mean, can you hear me?
Well,
Now
I can.
Okay. Well, they're so skinny, and so they're like little skeletons carrying a camera, and so that's how we decided to come up with the design of the shirt because of Alex Walker.
Yeah, when's lunch?
We actually wanted to write that lunch. That was Alex's favorite question.
Everyone's favorite question on set.
Just ask it more than anybody else.
It's not just me; it's everyone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. There has been lots of times where I find that camera crew is usually the first to always ask, like, "Hey, lunch coming? Is lunch? When's lunch?"
Yeah, it's either when's lunch, or some other sort of complaint. But usually it's when's come. It's the top two.
Shots fired.
What's number two?
Well, G&E is closely tied.
Luckily,
we this last set that Alex and I just came off with, G&E and camera were both great. Yeah, although they each had one person from each team that was more complaining than, but as a department as a whole, they were pretty fantastic.
Why, thank you. The 80s team also pretty fantastic.
We're always fantastic. What are you talking about?
Tell me about the set. Tell me what y'all worked on.
Okay.
Without spoiling, I guess, or NDA.
It was a great set, and it was a Christmas film.
Another Christmas film. Look at that.
Christmas film. Yeah. And it was shot in Waco, Texas. So
Waco stood in for a city called New Hope. So
New Hope. Wow.
That was supposed to be a fake city, but then we realized there are actually two cities. In fact, there's one. Yeah, there's one. There's a New Hope in Texas itself, which is what we were trying to avoid. But there's a New Hope.
So there's another one.
Yes, there's also another New Hope. So I forgot where it was. Yeah. So we had to call in the snow. So we had to use fake snow. It turned out really great. And then there was a Texas-sized snowman that was named Minnie, which was from a snow cone machine, basically made from.
Cute.
I didn't know how it was done. Yeah, they just miraculously showed up with ice on set.
So I think Brittany had this idea, but I mentioned that that's what we did on a different Christmas film that I did, also in Texas, Prime, Texas. But the way they did it with the fake snow, it didn't turn out as well. But they spread a bunch of ice from, I know, but yeah. No, it was cooler. It was definitely, I think, January, so it's not as bad. Yeah. So it was. But there wasn't snow. And so it was they used ice machines, like shaved ice things. They just had, like 4 of those going, and people were shaving ice, just putting it like on and stuff. Yeah.
Were you all like not eat it too? Like, you know, half the crew was making snow cones.
Half the crew was eating it. It
Yeah.
was melting already. So, but so yeah, it was. They had a mini sized snowman that was made from like I think they went to go to one of those snow cone places and pay them to make giant snowballs essentially. Yeah. And then they took it and froze it and then made a tiny ass snowman that was melting before our eyes. That thing lasted like 5 minutes max.
Yeah, the candies were like falling off. Yeah. And put a
I
little hat on
mean-
it. It was nice.
Minnie the snowman, the Union snowman. So yeah, no, it was great. What was it like? 30 people crew was here.
Rob was at the gate.
Yay! So Rob is our first AC, which is the focus puller. Yeah.
Okay.
On
Great.
set. So he's coming to join. He's huge. I've worked with him also. So it was a really fun, like film fam reunion. But it was the nicest to be able to work with Alex because, as you know, Alex, we all 3 of us also work together. So on another film that we don't need to say anything on that because all we've had, unfortunately, to say about it has not been very positive. So, but yes,
Except for me. But
So that was his first set.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it was great. It was a good time. It
He had a
it
great
was
time.
stressful.
Yeah,
I
he had a
did.
great time.
I actually did have a
meanwhile, we're
great
all
time.
Like, what is this? Yeah, but no, you had the best this time, but that was his first. Yeah.
What did the best this time for you?
Oh, like what made it the best time? I mean, well, there's no real one particular moment, but it was like a culmination of everything, like taking in the good with the bad and understanding that like a set can easily fall apart if you have no control whatsoever. And and then it goes back the other way where it's like the crew always knows how to work together and seemed like y'all knew exactly how to work together in synchronization. And it was like phenomenal to watch and inspiring as well. So I loved
like we got along.
Yeah, it seemed like it, but I mean, I'm sure there was other shit going on, but like, you know,
Really good
aside
at
from
faking shit, huh?
The crew definitely did get along. It just
Yeah.
wasn't, you know, other things occurred.
there was a lot of things that occurred. That's
Yeah,
true.
and it wasn't it didn't necessarily fall apart, say.
No, it was just,
No,
it didn't fall apart. It was just, we learned
But-
to work around it by telling Alex everything that we needed done, and Alex would be the voice that would make sure that things would happen. So it was
Well-
just more that nobody else's voice that were oddly all females were heard.
It's true.
Ever. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but we learned and we channeled it all through Alex. Things got done. So perfect. There were ways around it. Fun times. Yes. But that was cold. When was that?
That was November, December 2018, right? No, October, November 2018.
Yeah, it was October. Yeah.
So it wasn't cold, really.
No, it was. Well, actually, no. It was hot. It was hot in Blanco. We shot in Blanco at one point.
But then I do remember getting like rainy and cold one day.
Because there's a picture of you, Kelly, Shay, all wrapped in like a Fernie blanket or something.
Oh yeah, well that was like overnight. So it was like 3 a.m.
It dropped.
You know.
Yeah, it dropped at night.
That must have been at the ranch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were in the middle of
Yeah.
the woods in
The
Blanco.
woods. Yeah. We were in the middle. Super cold. Yeah. I remember that.
I vaguely remember that.
taught me a lot.
That's what we should have done. We should just make it. Yeah.
Worked perfectly.
Yes. Exactly. So my one of my favorite moments was Alex be like, I agree right now. So is Rob, who's about to join us. And I'm
Mhm.
like, really? He's like, yeah, everything is just great. and happy. I'm like, oh wow. I'm glad you're so happy. Yeah.
The right building.
Well, you got to tell him it's the last building. He's been here, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Tell him it's the last building because that's what I got confused about. He might be going up the stairs of that first staircase. Tell him it's the second staircase. Yeah. So Rob, I worked with on a different project. I met him a lot earlier. Well, that's what we were trying to figure out. It might have been Public Displays of Insanity. I know I also met him on Tower, but I'm pretty sure I met him prior to that already. So, which was the set that I met Carly on. Well, yes. And that was Carly's first like set. She was quote unquote producing lightly. Yeah. So she was learning. Yeah, she was learning. And then I was like, oh, she's got her shit together. And then the next, she was like, oh, I'm gonna be in the film industry. I was like, I have a feeling that you might be in the AD team, basically. And so the next project, they didn't want to give me a second. So I was like, well, this is the opportunity to be like, I'll bring on a free second. So Carly came, and then she's been my second AD since. So have you worked with Carly?
I don't recognize the name.
Yeah. So this time we had Joe, who was also great, trained by Carly and Nikki.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where his
Joe will be joining me on the next feature that I'm doing. We're starting another one here in a couple weeks.
In Waco?
No, this will be here in Austin this time.
Oh, y'all are back in
Not on
Austin.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I almost was on it too, but they I got asked to do it, and then that was before he knew that somebody had just gotten signed up for the thing. So it would have been fun though. I would have been another month and a half. Yeah, I know. That's what Alex and I just came from, was eating crawfish. Yes.
Oh my God, your favorite, your only thing in the world. Your one
That
and
I
that
love.
only.
I know. So Alex has experiences because I wrote crawfish into Yalalbi, and that's how he knew about my love for crawfish.
During Two Roads too.
I'm sure we did.
It like started with Two Roads, and then you wrote it into y'all.
Wrote into yeah. So it's my thing. It's weird. My weird thing that I did.
Mhm.
Footsteps coming up the stairs.
It's probably Rob or
Yeah.
a Yeti. Or a Yeti or a Sasquatch of some sort. It is a toss up. You'll see when you see him. He's like part Yeti.
Hopefully it's not an
Sasquatch.
intruder. I mean, yeah.
Or a home invasion.
Yeah. Just stay safe, you guys.
Yay! We're like, we hear large footsteps, and we're like, it's either Rob or a Sasquatch or both.
It is me.
Okay,
Come
you're gonna
sit in.
introduce him.
Hello.
Yes.
How's it going?
Come sit in and then grab a cider.
Grab another box.
Yes. Oh, are you drinking out of your? Is that a cider? Is that a lens?
Yeah.
John, the 105.
Yeah.
This is a 105. Yes, it's the 24 by 105 coffee mug.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's in the middle. Yeah, or the side.
That's dope.
Yep. Cool.
Excellent. Excellent.
Actually, I probably should sit in the middle. That makes the most sense.
Okay.
All right. Wait. Here, let's do that. And then
Yeah.
there we go. You see here. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Anyways,
Look at that.
so
It's a couch pod.
Okay, it's a couch pod. Yes. Wait, I gotta get my cider. There's a couch pod. Yay. Wait, you're not in it. Wait, I was gonna cheers you with my mic. That's not exactly. Yeah, there you go. Cheers.
Look at that.
Cheers.
Cheers, you guys.
It's Christine and the camera bros. Wait, you gotta scoot more in because you're not adapting. No. Uh-oh. Holding for
right.
camera. Yes, there we go.
Yeah. Object in the way.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll start asking questions. What makes a good director?
What makes a good director?
Go ahead, Alex.
Um,
You have the floor for the next 30 minutes.
So 30 minutes. Wow.
my
Long time to
God.
answer this question. Uh, total commitment. That's what makes a good
Ah.
director. Total commitment.
Would
There
you
we
care
go.
to expand on that, Alex?
Being a director is like the only good being a dictator.
Yeah.
So you gotta be totally committed. Otherwise, it's not gonna happen. You know?
No.
That's my short answer. I'll give you a long answer, but I don't think you want to be here that long.
What's your observation? What you having worked in a lot in this, you
Yeah,
have a different perspective because you are usually also behind the camera or behind the on the monitor.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think that'd be like a good balance of like they know what they want, but they're flexible in how they get there.
Right.
Because a lot of times it's like, you know the end result you want to see, but there's things that happen on the day to day that you're the path to get to that point is not always going to be exactly how you envisioned. So as long as if you have some flexibility in how you get there, I think just that little column A, column B makes a great director. Just know what you want, but you may not love how you get there all the time.
So I should have you introduce yourself. So
Oh yeah, my name is Rob. I'm in the camera department. First AC, DP, do a lot of different stuff.
Welcome to the pod,
Yeah.
Rob.
the
We
pod.
love having
the
you.
Couch pod.
Yeah, couch pod Rob.
Couch pod.
Couch
Rob.
I
pod
love
Rob.
it. Love it. I'm building a persona all right here. Yeah, I have my own podcast, Baseline Bums Podcast.
What's your podcast?
I talk about basketball stuff. I played basketball.
Closer to the mic, Rob. Closer
At
to the
Baseline
mic.
Bums. Oh, at Baseline Bums
Yeah.
Podcast.
Gotcha.
On Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, all different kinds of stuff. So yeah, we're talking all things basketball.
I love it.
Set last week where Julie and I were having lunch with director Julie, and we heard this voice coming from might be a little angry about something.
Oh, I heard that.
And Julie, like up, stop, just to look out the window. It's like, what's going on? And then it's like, oh, basketball podcast. That's what it was.
I was eating my lunch peacefully as well, and I was like, Rob's really heated about something. But then you started laughing, and then I was like, wait, okay, he's watching basketball and getting really into it. That's why. Yeah.
I mean, anytime people bring the Spurs into the discussion, I can get a little bit
Gotcha.
emotional.
Yeah.
It just happens. I'm a
Yeah.
diehard San Antonio Spurs fan. Sometimes I just take it there.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens. We're passionate about our things.
Yeah, you wear your heart on your sleeves for your team, Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it.
My favorite moments are when it's so loud and like I have I can get pretty loud, but not like Rob more loud. And his is like scary as fuck loud, basically.
Yeah. There are you referring to that moment at Tucker Hall? Well, we were trying to get some room tone, and everyone was being they were respecting the fact we needed to be silent, and I ended up scaring a couple of grandmothers with how loud my voice was, but we ended up getting it. We ended up getting it right away. So
It worked.
yeah,
It was scared shitless.
absolutely. So sometimes you need to take it there.
Those Grammys up. But back to our questioning, talking about directors.
Yes. I'm just interested because like I'm a director, so I think my perspective is different, and I find that you learn the most about what is a good and bad director when you're not in that position. You're observing different directors. I know you guys work with a lot and you observed quite a bit, and or maybe do you have, without naming names, can you describe like who one of your favorite directors was that you worked with and why?
One of my favorite directors I've worked with and why. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't want to name names because it would be disrespectful to other directors, but
Yeah, I
like
was
I would
about to
say one of
say.
the characteristics of one of my favorite directors I've worked with was just the fact that they were the first one in, last one out. And it wasn't like they were only wanted to have the responsibilities that they wanted to have. They were always the first one there on set. They were always the last one to leave to make sure that all of the pieces were kind of, going to be in place for the next day. And so just to feel that presence and that just enthusiasm about a project, not only to just be like, oh, I just want to be with the actors and that's it. And it's like, well, no, there's a lot of other things that can fall through the cracks, and ultimately that falls on you. And so to just see that kind of enthusiasm and that support is just, that's second to none when that's your leader. Yeah.
Go that.
I love that.
I think the trait that I like the most is in the directors that I've worked with that I really appreciate working with. It's always been the attention to detail and being willing to like show up. I think what I said earlier, the commitment thing, that's a big part of being detail oriented.
Hey, Alex, tilt the mic a little bit. A little.
that?
There you go. Yeah.
A little better.
Perfect. That's way better.
Oh, I don't do this often.
You're pro, dude. What are you talking about?
I'm a visual guy. We don't do sound in my movies.
Not your department. I get it.
Not my, exactly. Not my department.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing I was saying earlier, commitment. But it's
Great.
a different perspective. It's the attention to detail for all things, the scheduling, and not just the actors is what I'm saying. So similar with Rob, showing up first, and leaving last, figuratively and literally.
I'm
Fucking
in
A.
the same boat. I think it's like somebody who I think the best ones know their script inside and out. They don't have to look at the script half the time. And you can ask them at any point, hey, what happened here? What happened before this? What happened after this? What happened 3 scenes from there? And they can give you a detailed step by step of what's happening in the script, not just from a directing standpoint, from a story standpoint, but from every single element standpoint, because that's how well they know the script. I think that's the best, and I think it shows the most when you're under pressure, because when you're under pressure, it's hard to think, and you are going to get questions from all departments, and that's when your preparation or lack of really shows. So yeah, I think that's some of the best directors I've worked with. That's one huge thing. And then I think something I've learned watching good directors is where when they're asking, they know exactly how to ask actors how to give them something different. So when they're doing multiple takes, it's usually not because like the actor is giving them something completely wrong. That sometimes does happen, but like if you've been rehearsing with your actor or talking it through, usually the actor gets it and is already getting what you want. But it's getting like a level of different, just a slightly more subtle change in the expression, and it can be like a certain line or a certain beat, so that they know they have 3 different kinds of options, where if you were to piece them together, you would get some sort of, emotional beat. So I thought I found that very, very interesting. What department would you see yourself in if it wasn't camera?
Probably the art department. I do.
Hey. Hey now.
I like art. It's
Okay.
such a big part of the visuals too. So that's why I like it. That you can't have any. You don't have anything to shoot without the art department and without everybody else. But mostly the art department.
It's probably the best compliment I've ever heard from for art department. And that's accurate. Thank you.
I've always pictured myself as just a really good boom operator.
What?
I got but at the end of the day, I have such hearing problems. I don't think I could exist in sound. Exactly. Like
This art PA was red, green, colorblind. We love you, CJ. But
Wow,
it's a
really?
Christmas movie.
Oh wow.
It was perfect. It was just, you just heard the production design, I'd be like,
Oh,
of course I would get the one PA that is colorblind and is red green color. But I can't send him to do anything. Like he can't pick colors. He can't do anything. It's really sad.
Wow.
That's tough to set some ornaments when you can't tell the difference. It's yeah, you're like, oh, you just put 5 green ones right next to each other, and it's like, well, how is he supposed to know?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. But I think another fun department would be crafty. Like I would take pride in having snacks people didn't even think of, having them displayed in ways that were thoughtful. I would make sure people were fueled. Oh yeah. I would take pride in that.
Sounds like you have some issues to pick with prior crafting departments that you've been.
Food is important.
Food is very important.
Very
As
important.
evidenced by the T-shirt. Remember?
Yes.
That's right.
Rob, you know the story behind this, right? This was inspired by Alex.
Really?
Because Kelly Penna, one of the co-founders, and we worked with Alex for some of my earliest films were all with Alex. And our comment was, man, like all the DPs we work with are all super skinny and they carry these large ass cameras. And Alex's favorite thing to ask on set was, when's lunch, all the time. And so then we're like, well, we're going to make a skeleton because it reminds us of Alex, and he's just going to be carrying a giant ass camera. That's how the logo was designed.
I did not know the origins of it.
Yeah, this is inspired by Alex Walker. Yeah.
But Alex does get excited about his food. He is food motivated, but at the same time, I think it's the easy way to keep morale up on set. Just you got to have some good food. You got to have some good food you can get excited
Totally.
about. I would say requirement crafty. Well, just above all else, we're making a film. We got to have coffee. Like if we don't have if there's not
Of
coffee
course,
at crafty,
come on.
I might just throw a table up in the air. Like that's
Yeah.
Right. Just we need a nice big pot at all times. Can walk up to pour it in my to-go thermos, and I'm just fueled, ready to go. That needs to happen.
To go would be beef jerky. My preferred needs to be in crafty.
Wow.
So, beef jerky. Mm-hmm. How about your?
That wasn't really done very much this set, but yeah, we've had sets where boiled eggs were my favorite. Yeah. Nikki called her. Nikki, have you guys worked with Nikki? Oh, okay. She would call them my SOS eggs. Like you'd hear over the walkie, SOS eggs. Yeah. Christine's getting irritated. Yeah. Shove an egg in her mouth.
Yeah, quick protein bomb.
Yeah, eggs. Yeah, mine would be eggs. That's not very common on set though, but I do love me a boiled egg. How did you guys get started in your departments?
I was always really interested in camera. Like I always had a camera growing up and would film random things my family would do, and we've always felt like a documentarian. So like I just always had a camera, and the first camera, well, I had some like really like film cameras I would take pictures of, and dad gave me. That was the first camera I ever had, but like first video camera was the Canon XA10, which was like a hand cam. Like it was a nicer version of like a full HD handy cam. And no.
Very big. when we first started.
That was popular, but I was kind of like of the mindset where like I just want everything all in one system, and I was like, and so I did some comedy sketches in high school and stuff like that, and that was some of the first stuff I filmed. And as soon as I saw that you could make a living in a camera department in like a myriad of ways, I was like, holy crap, that's what I want to do. There's no other route, because it was fun to me, but it was also, you could do it. Oh, first job in film. It was a camera utility. Like that was like the first. I think it was it was with Leon and Hal. It was Leon and Hal. It was that far back. That was maybe like 2000, 2010, 2011. That might. Oh yeah. Well, I've always randomly worked with them over the years because they did the video for USAA for like 3 decades, and so they would bring in people to assist them with those videos when they were off site, and then I would see them on those gigs, and it was, at the time I didn't know very much, so I learned a lot from
Yeah.
some of the older guys. Yeah, that's kind of where I got started.
I know you're first. Well, no, I know when I met you had a that was the camera.
Yeah.
Like souped up.
I actually had a Canon XL2 back in the day.
You would have a Canon XL.
Yeah, I worked at HEB back then, and I saved my checker money to buy a Canon XL.
That was like the camera to have in like what was it, early 90s, right?
Early 90s, no, more like no, not even. It was mini DV. It wasn't HD, but it was 3 CCD, like the first camera that had like a separate chip for each color channel. But it must have been like 2007 is when I bought it.
It was early.
There's XL1,
Okay.
which came out like anyways, that's 2002. I don't know, a long time. But I think my first paid gig was, I was still a senior in high school. It was for a local like but then yeah, that kind of stuff. There was another part to that question, wasn't there?
What was your first gig?
Well, that was the first gig.
one.
Yeah.
How'd you find it?
So senior year I did there we were in high school required independent study mentorship. I took a student and she worked at the salon, and so it ended up becoming I was mentor. Enough for back, I was like $200 or something, like, okay, cool. Yeah. Stuff, you know what I'm saying? But there was another part of the question, wasn't there?
Was there? Canon XL2 and then what did this?
Yeah, actually, funny story. I was still at UP, and I took the bus up to a studio on the northwest side of town, and I sold it to them for a ridiculous amount, because this is well into the DSLR era, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll buy your camera," and I was like flabbergasted. No, I mean,
a lot of people didn't know about the Canon.
Exactly. Yeah, the DSLRs like took everyone by surprise. 7D with the money that I bought. Yeah.
When the DSLRs came out, and I think a lot of people were very leery about it. That's why they didn't think it would turn, because it doesn't look like a camera.
One system. Yeah.
And I think it was the fact that the thing looks like a camera, like a photo camera. That so people were so against it because it looks like a photo camera. And I just remembered the reason I knew about it was there was a guy at Rice that had bought one first, and the stuff that was coming out of that camera, I was just like, holy shit, it looks like the stuff that like commercials and stuff. It just had the quality, like commercial quality. And I am using one of those mini DV tape, like a Sony AXU or some, I can't remember, but it was like one of the first consumer HD cameras, tiny type thing. It might have been a X100, or I can't remember. Yeah. I knew about it because I took it to China to do my first documentary there. That was a Rice sponsored documentary. That's how I met Christopher Nolan's mutual buddy named Rocco Bellic, who at that time was nominated for an Academy Award for his documentary. Yeah. And I met him in China, and he's just like long hair hippie dude. I just sent him an email not too long ago. He does all of the documentaries in the special like Blu-rays of Christopher Nolan's Blu-rays. So like in Inception, he did a documentary about dreams in it, and then he did a documentary about the Batmobile and all the Batman stuff. But yeah, super cool. But I met him in China randomly. He was like, "Hey, can I look at your camera?" And like some random dude, like in this cafe, and we're like, he's like, "Don't worry, like I'm a filmmaker as well. Like I've just never seen such a small HD camera before." So we showed him, and then we got his card, and then my co-producer looked him up and was like, "Holy shit, he's nominated for an Academy Award." Yeah, super cool dude, Rocco Bellic. But yeah, I started off on one of those, and then I bought one, and then immediately when I saw a DSLR, I bought a Canon T2i. Yeah, so that was my thing, because that's all I could afford was the T2i. And I remember I bought it because I got a gig to shoot like a corporate commercial. I think I charged like $500 or something, but I bought my camera with that money basically. So like I had the camera, and I was still like user manualing how to change like ISOs and like the f-stops and stuff while I'm on the client site. Yeah. Yeah, reading, like subtly trying to like, watch YouTube videos or look for something. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of that. That's like what you're supposed to do, you know. You troubleshoot it very well. Troubleshot very well this weekend. You know, safe day on a tripod during filming the last scene of the movie. Can you imagine that? No tripod. If we had no tripod, you're like, whoops.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting because the Miller tripod we were using the whole shoot was super just rickety. It was just really falling apart, and they gave us this other tripod that was I'm gonna just go and say it was less than adequate. So we had to just take parts off of that tripod and basically Frankenstein. Yep, Frankenstein the dang tripod. But like like what are we gonna do? Not shoot? Yeah, like you got to keep the day moving. You got to keep the day going. So that's all about just being a problem solver at that point. It's like how can I turn this negative situation into something we can build off of,
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with film, the flexibility, like what we're saying. So I'm sorry, Alex's roommate has a call. He warned us about it. But can you hear us? Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, but can you hear Chris?
No.
Background? No, not
No.
bad, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, as long as hopefully we're not disturbing him. But I think it's like everything can go wrong on a film set, and it's like how to MacGyver something. Another favorite moment was we had a scene with a crap load of extras. It was at Tucker Hall, and the grip truck was in the middle of the shot. And I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to move this. And it was Brendan. Oh, sorry. Oops. There was somebody that was on set that doesn't like moving things, or we get pushback about it. Anyway, Alex was genius. He goes, that thing is now a food truck. Just put all the things, all the gack, pull it in, and just have somebody walk out of it with some food. And it's a food truck. Because how many food trucks have we seen are out of a like a little camper type thing? And that's solving things flexibly through creativity. And I think that's some of the best stuff comes out from that. So yeah. So how many years have you been in film?
I've been in film since I took my first like paying gig right out of college, so I guess it was 2013 is when I took like my first paying gig. Before that, I was just making a bunch of stuff I wasn't proud of. It's just like, kind of crash course, making comedy sketches with my friends and things where you're lighting the scene, you're practicing your craft, but it feels so elementary. You're still doing things that are like you're doing it because you're being flexible. You're not practicing good filmmaking techniques. But like I did the first thing I was truly proud of in 2013 when I graduated college and started to like be like, all right, I'm going to take this more seriously. Like I want this as a career path. And, you know, I think that's when I started to, I guess, just take the process of it more seriously rather than like being so focused on, all right, I want to film something cool and have it look cool. It was when I was like, all right, I need to take care of my gear. I need to clean my things. I need to make sure it's packed properly and it's where it's supposed to be so I can get to it when I need it. And it was like, it was just really how to do the day-to-day stuff to get that final result. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So clean your stuff.
Start. First started getting paid gigs, but like Rob said, there was plenty of people making. She'll never be seen. But yeah, you know, there's still stuff that I would qualify as experimentation even today. You know, there's this method. So
Some of the best stuff from just messing around and just I think everybody has to build in time for that. I think that's why it's fun to that's why I know I can get people to come and just be like, hey, let's just try like a new technique, like low stakes, let's just have fun, have some beers, drink while we're doing this or eat or whatever, and just like learn something different or try testing something. I think that's when the most fun stuff comes out. It's interesting because we all kind of started around the same time. I guess because we're all kind of similar ages too. But I remember my first set was with you. It was I just moved to Austin not too long ago, and it was one of the first. I was producing a student film, and Alex was the DP on it, and our mutual friend Alex Murphy was the director. And I just will always remember that you took the time to explain what a stinger was because I had no clue what that was. And you knew all the lingo and everything, but you weren't a dick about it. You took the time to explain to me like what it was. And I will always remember that, you know, and I and because of that, I will always make an effort when there's new people on set to like slow down and explain things and to educate and stuff because people will you never know, people will always they'll come back, that person that was the PA will freaking hire you, turns out. Yeah, exactly. And I hired you immediately for the next 3-4 projects we did after that. Yeah, it's always like that.
too, didn't you did the pre roulette?
Did that one too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how yeah. So Alex's roommate, Chris Van Loon, was on the first film that I was a quote unquote producer on. So didn't know shit. Just was okay, but was good at organizing. Really, what was, and good at like negotiating and contracts and stuff like that. So, yeah. And then that's how I got plugged in, and then I met you on, I guess, public displays. I think it was that. If it was Hal and that brought you on.
Yeah. Well, I'm honestly at that point, they were kind of like phasing themselves out. And I still feel like now that's what they're doing is, you know, he's 70 years old. He shouldn't be humping gear anymore. That's just it's kind of a lot. Yeah. 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 Well, yeah. I think Hal's a couple years older. Yeah. I mean, if you have to break out the knee pads on set every day, then it's probably, yeah, it could be time. It could be time. But I mean, I think we're in an industry where depending on the department you're in, yeah, you can participate for a really long time, but they do a lot of G&E stuff and camera department stuff. It's tough to do that. Yeah. No. Sometimes I'm like, Mike, just let your young guys take that. Just let the guys in their 30s take that. Mike's 58. Still on it. He's killing it. Yeah, I love working with Mike. I think that's why we hold Mike in such a high regard, even though, you know, like I feel like a lot of times you'll see like a gaffer with more lights and stuff like that on set, but like I take his expertise over anybody's, you know.
Yeah. This project, by the way.
I feel you might have hung out. He's the one with Kelly's worked with him multiple times. He has long white hair. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I worked with him before.
You
What's his name
probably
again?
worked with him. Mike Gonzalez.
I think so.
Long white hair.
Yeah,
Long
sounds
white hair
familiar.
describes gaffers, though. It's like the standard gaffer look.
Yeah,
Yeah. But nah, Mike is cool. He's really nice. I like to give him shit because he can take it. He's so funny. He's just super nice, super kind, knows so much, and can MacGyver things left and right. And he's got I told him his like truck is like Mary Poppins truck. Like it's like a never ending bottomless pit of stuff. You just never know what you're gonna find in it, and it could help it save the production. Yeah.
He whipped out a big washer for us, and then some like what was it? What else did he have? Oh, he made it for us. Yeah. Little done for the lens for the matte box. Just like shaped some duotine and cut it. Oh no! The best part was because his background is actually as a first AC for many years in LA and Lithuania, on film. So old school AC. And he, on our big day with all those extras that we were talking about earlier, Tucker Hall Day, we had a situation where we were running out of daylight and we had to whip out both cameras at the same time, but we weren't necessarily equipped for having both cameras going at the same time. So we only had one matte box and we had to use some filters on both cameras. So Mike whipped out his old school tape technique. He basically put a little ring of tape around the lens, and you're taping the filter to the lens, which looks super jank, but it works. And I was afraid we were going to have a little mishap, but you know, it didn't fall off, and we got the shot. So thank you, Mike. Old school skills to the rescue.
That's what's great about veterans is that they've seen all sorts of problems and solved it in so many different ways that like they're not afraid to just take out their bag of tricks, literally truck of tricks, and fix things. And he's like, oh, he'll go, let me see what I got in the truck. And he'll disappear for a few moments. He'll come back with some random thing. I'm like, I don't have that in my truck. I don't have that in my car. Yeah. So, what is the next project you would like? What is something, do you think about like the next thing that you want to work on? Like what would be cool to you? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, in fact, like I have a project I want to direct. Like I have like a film I wrote that I want to direct. And you know, like I don't really want to direct too many things because, you know, I think I'm not really that great of a director. I'm like the films I do, it looks like a cinematographer directed it. So it's like there's cool shots for sometimes no reason. I'm like, I wanted that cool shot in there. And so I'm still trying to develop myself outside of that, but there's a zombie basketball story that I want to do. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny. It's a comedy, but like it's basically right up both of my alleys. So like I'm gonna get to shoot some like funny horror stuff, but in my own basketball world. I'm gonna love it. So yeah, it's essentially like this these guys are shooting around at a park and they need one more person to play 3-on-3. This guy kind of rolls up. He's kind of like a little bit weird. They don't know what's wrong with him. They ask him to play. He ends up, you know, fouling and scratching a couple of guys throughout the course of the game, and it ends up being this. Yeah, then it ends up being a team of zombies, and then it's like, and then hilarity ensues from there. But yeah, I want to do this film. Absolutely. I've written most of it. Right now I'm still kind of tweaking the dialogue of it, but it's only like 5-6 pages.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a one-day thing. I already know where I want to shoot it, and it's gonna be pretty fun.
Cool.
When's this going to happen then?
I have no idea. I need one of the things to me that needs to be so genuine is the snap difference from like when he's like a zombie walking up. I want him to be like stiff, kind of like not like a 28 days later zombie where he's like sprinting at you. I want him to go from like slow, like a Night of the Living Dead zombie almost. And then as soon as he touches a basketball, he's absolute freak of nature. Like and so like I'm gonna need like a Division I basketball player. Absolutely. I'm gonna need somebody that like can, I want like multiple dunks. Like he's gonna have to be able to dunk. He's gonna have to be able to do a lot of different things. So I'm gonna be, yeah, oh yeah. I know guys. I mean, we'll see. That's the thing. He would need prosthetics and stuff like that. So I would have to talk some of my basketball friends into doing it. So yeah. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. I did some prosthetic stuff when I was an extra on Alita, and it like made my skin go crazy. And so I was like, I'm never doing that again. No paint, don't attach anything onto me ever. Yeah, well, I worked as like camera utility a little bit on that, and then they overbooked camera utility people, and then they were like, "Oh, do y'all want to be extras since we like told y'all you were going to be working these dates?" And I was like, "If you want to get some money," and I was like, "Yeah, dude, well, I'm going to be an extra for these few days." And no, I never saw the film. No. I was in a scene where there was like a huge bazaar scene, and yeah, they had me in some like stained MC Hammer looking pants and like a prosthetic on my arm, and yeah, I didn't know if they were gonna use me or not, but yeah, it was a weird experience.
All had our, haven't we? When an extra.
I've been extras in like almost every movie I've been in. Yeah, that's like now my thing. My thing is like, can I AD and be an extra? Like I like it. I like doing that. So
Existing project that you're not AD,
I've done commercial extraing because you can make some pretty decent money on it. I did some before I moved. I did a Whataburger one actually. Yeah, which they paid pretty well. So I know like and stuff like that. Which yeah, and so yeah, no, it's great because what I'll do is bring all my work that I can do mobilely, and I'll just do that. And they need me, I go and do it. And if not, I'm waiting them to work, and I like know the crew and I know the cast, and people are you because I'm like hanging out with them, and like the crew's like, yeah, come eat at crew dinner, like crew food or whatever. I'm just like, yeah. So
the extras food is never as good as the crew food. Pizza versus actual food.
they all think I'm crew, so I'll just go hang out with the crew most of the time. Yeah. So and the extras are like, we're not supposed to do that. I'm like, well, I know like everybody there. Yeah. Yeah. So, but so yeah, I'll do some commercial extra work and stuff. But I've done film stuff, but not like separately. It's usually because I'm involved in it as an AD or whatever. So, but you did it separately.
Yeah, I kind of started doing bigger gigs by being an extra on Friday Night Lights, and there's a couple other shows. They kept going after that. Like I think there was a short-lived pilot called My Generation or Generation Y for a little bit, and then on Revolution, NBC. Yeah. It's on camera with Giancarlo Esposito. But so that was fun. But that was also 2013 or 2014 or something like that. Yeah. Maybe later. I don't remember now.
Some extra work randomly because I was an extra in a football movie called Mile American. Yeah, they filmed here a long time, and they were just like, we need people who are big that could look like college football players, and it's like a month and a half of work. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. I was like, yeah, just wear football pads and be hot, and that's something I can do. But yeah, that was an interesting one, and I did some background on The Leftovers as well. That one was kind of one where they just needed a lot of people. They just needed bodies, and so I was like, all right, I kind of want to see what that set looks like, even though I'm not, working on it in a crew capacity. Hey, Mia.
Mia was our lead in the film that we just worked on. So
Right
yeah.
on. Welcome.
She's Hi, Mia. Or is it Kara that's on Mia's account? Who knows? So yeah, no, and also Alex was apparently an extra with one of our lead name stars, Annie. Yeah. So Annie, I forgot what is Annie's last name. Pilecki, that was it. Annie Pilecki. She was in John Wick. She was a female assassin in John Wick. The third was it the third one? I can't remember. I'm about to see the fourth one tomorrow. Who else is? Oh, hi, Learn Filmmaking. Oh, yay! I follow them so much. I love all their stuff. They've been doing a lot of the stuff with John Wick. I was supposed to meet the Steadicam op from John Wick, the fourth one in the UK, but we couldn't get our schedules to line up. But pretty cool. But wait, Adam, you texted me. I couldn't read it. What did you say?
We are coming up on an hour.
Okay, cool.
Whenever, if you want to wrap, if you got a couple more minutes, we can. It's up to you.
Okay. What's one question you want to ask all the three of us?
Sure. Huh? One more time?
No, I said we just been like reliving old times.
Yeah, no. This is the nostalgia of the episode. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, do y'all have like a project that you learned most from? Did we already ask that? Is that something we've asked?
No, we haven't.
Were the best lessons you learned on the best lesson you've
lessons.
learned on a set?
Ooh. Huh.
Gotta have chill vibes.
Mm.
If you are not chill and you're in a department head position,
Forgot which set it was. You're the one who said that. You said we are the ones who set the tone. You told me that once. And you said if it looks like if we don't appear like we have our shit together, then it trickles down. Everybody is going to panic because it. But if we're calm, then everybody else will be calm as well. I remember you specifically telling me that, and I always appreciated that very much. The other thing that I also appreciated, I don't remember which set it was, but I think I was really upset because I was like, man, we don't have like all the things and like we don't have the money and all that stuff. And you told me that like there are directors out there that force themselves to put themselves in that situation to limit their resources because it pushes their creativity. And I really appreciated that. Yeah. And I've always been able to take situations that are not ideal and turn them there's so many things you can alter a look to match what you have. You can do work within your means and creatively make it a choice. Because it was at the rules of three, right? If it's like you said first time
something, it could be by mistake, not necessarily intentional. Second time you do something, also be a mistake. Third time you're doing that on purpose. So make sure you do it the right way. Otherwise, you'll be misinterpreted by the audience.
3 times is a choice. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that was one big I think one thing that I learned, this wasn't from you, this was from Johnny Greenwald, our mutual friend Johnny Greenwald. It was on Fun Employment. That was my first that was technically my first feature film was Fun Employment that I made with $30,000. And it was I wanted to do a dolly shot because I had a dolly. And he goes, "Why?" He's like, "What are you, Wes Anderson?" And I was like, and I couldn't answer why. And that's when I understood that every little thing that you do, you have to be able to answer why. That's what that's what determines what is a good director, good DP, or good anything, is having a purpose. And that's when I understood what I meant, gratuitous. Having something that's gratuitous is when you're just doing it for the sake of doing it without a reason or how it adds to the story. And I think that was the biggest lesson, was when he was like, "Why?" And my first answer was because it looks cool, and it makes it look high value. And he goes, yeah, but if it doesn't add to the story, it doesn't freaking matter if it looks cool. And I then from that point on, every shot that I did, I would always ask myself, why am I choosing to do this shot? And I think just changing that mentality changed everything for me from a directing standpoint.
Oh yeah. The question was something we learned. I don't know about if it's the biggest, but a really good lesson I learned. It was actually during Javelina Run. I was walking through the saloon with my stand, and there was a couple of the producers were in the way, and I was basically like, saying sorry, y'all are in my way. And John Pritchett, who was doing sound, two-time Oscar nominee John Pritchett was doing sound on that film, and he literally without missing a beat, he goes, don't apologize for working. He goes, don't apologize for working. And I was like, hey, that's hey Lexi. But he was like, don't apologize for working. He's like, you were moving with purpose. He's like, they were just standing in the doorway. He's like, don't apologize for that. He's like, just confidently tell them you're doing something, get out of the way. And I've taken that with me, because before I was the guy that was like, hey, sorry, I need to get by. And then now it's like, points. Yeah, get out of the fucking way. It's like, yeah, I'll scream that at some PAs, and I think I screamed that at an investor too. So
Probably impressed them. Like, oh damn, they're serious.
Seriously. Yes. But I think one of the best things about moments like these and then seeing each other set is that we're all growing together. So like we spent a lot of mainly me, I get into these nostalgic moments, but I'll just be like, remember the time when like all our equipment fit in your car and Adam's car, or remember the time when we didn't have this, or we worked on the Kessler and we installed it upside down. We did that yeah. And the first time we shot in the rain, we had to go buy a bunch of GFCs, and like we're like, is this even safe? Should we be shooting in the rain? Yeah, we were alive. It was fine. Now we shut down sets when there's thunderstorms, but then we didn't know. Yeah.
Now we use it as an excuse to go home early.
Yeah.
It was totally because it was a tornado.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's that I think that's the nice part, is being able to see our career paths and be like, hey, we started with this and then now we're here and we'll continue to move on, and then 10 years later we'll be like, remember that one set when dot dot dot. I think that's the best part.
Like that joke, how many grips does it take to change a light bulb? One, but at least 5 others to tell them how they did it last time.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. I
You should
like
tell
that.
your brown pants joke. Yeah, he told this to me on set. It was actually a nice joke.
Go ahead.
It was on the first day. It was on the one day that it was a shit show that day. Because the ADs only had each other, me and Joe, and there were 80 extras, 10 principal actors, and they were all like friends of friends, and so we couldn't be like yell at them because we would be like it wouldn't be politically correct or something. So it was like really stressful, and Alex told me this joke. So Alex, you tell it.
This is my leadership style in a nutshell. So there's the captain of a ship in the Navy, and they're headed into battle. And the lieutenant comes up one day and he's like, Captain, there's one enemy ship coming over the horizon. What do we do? He goes, it's fine. No big deal. Just get me my red jacket. We'll go into battle and we will defeat them. So the next day he's wearing his red jacket. They go into battle and they do defeat them. So the next day after that, the lieutenant comes up and says, Captain, there's 10 enemy ships coming over the horizon. What do we do? And he goes, it's not a big deal. Just get me my red jacket. We will be fine. We will prevail. And so the next day they meet the 10 ships in battle and they defeat them, red jacket and all. So that night they're drinking, they're celebrating, the usual stuff. And the lieutenant says, Captain, I just really like to know why you always ask me for your red jacket before we go into battle. And he goes, well, Lieutenant, that's something that is key to my success. If I'm wearing the red jacket, my crew cannot see me bleeding. And he goes, oh, that's an amazing piece of insight. And so the next day, the lieutenant comes up to the captain and goes, Captain, there's 100 ships coming over the horizon. What do we do? And the captain very slowly turns around and he says, get me my brown pants. So don't let them see you
Nice.
freak out. That's the moral of the story.
You get it, brown pants and shitting in your pants.
Yeah.
Yes. So you gotta wear your brown pants so they don't see you shit in your pants. Da-da-da-da. I love that. Yeah,
God.
I love that.
I love that too. My favorite
good
part
idea.
is Christine explaining the joke more though.
So yes, but
Okay.
that's it. Yeah,
We're wrapping this up then.
yeah, that's the Get Reelisms
Oh.
podcast.
That's been the Get Reelisms podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.